Germany has authorized a group of self-appointed Sharia police to continue enforcing Islamic law in the city of Wuppertal. According to the Gatestone Institute, the 7 Islamists who form the vigilante force have established a Sharia-controlled zone and urge Muslims and non-Muslims to attend mosques. The court ruled the group is not breaking German law, but is exercising its right to free speech. Critics say the ruling effectively legitimizes Sharia law.
New details about a compensation program for people accusing priests of abuse. 46 new claims have been filed in New York. The Archdiocese of New York launched the initiative 2 months ago. Now it could become the church's largest program of its kind. When allegations are too old for the court system, the program allows claims to be taken to an outside mediator. Victims' advocates point out that the church has not given an estimate for payouts.
Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast could be criminally prosecuted by the Texas Attorney General for selling babies' body parts. The House Selective Investigative Panel on Infant Lives is pushing for the organization's prosecution. The panel was developed in 2015 after the release of videos showed Planned Parenthood harvesting body parts of aborted babies. Family Research Council President Tony Perkins says the prosecution is, quote, the appropriate next step in bringing justice to bear.
We're learning more in the case of the missing California mom found bound on the side of the road after vanishing for 3 weeks. Sherry Papini was brutally beaten, burned, and branded, and her hair cut off. She weighed only 87 pounds at the time of her rescue. The sheriff in the area gave more details on Wednesday about Papini's captors.
Sherry described her assailants as 2 Hispanic female adults. She related that both of the subjects spoke in Spanish the majority of the time of her captivity. Further, the suspects concealed their faces in an attempt to hide their identities from her.
After decades in the classroom, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and To Kill a Mockingbird are banned from Accomack County Public Schools. Last month, a parent expressed concerns over the book's use of the N-word.
But there's so much racial slurs in there and offensive wording that you can't get past that. And right now, we are a nation divided as it is.
She filed a request to have the district find alternatives, forcing them to temporarily suspend use of the 2 novels. A review committee is expected to give the school superintendent a recommendation on whether to keep the books off of shelves.
The N-word shouldn't even be in a book.
Teresa Wilkins hopes the district bans them.
It's in a book, and they'll feel that they're able to say that to anybody.
But some people disagree, saying even though the books have racial slurs, the quality of the content and what the message is behind the books is reason enough for students to read them.
By removing it, what is it going to fix? I think to explain what has occurred would help more.
Many others agree, saying censoring Huck Finn and To Kill a Mockingbird could set a dangerous precedent, possibly leading to other classic books being banned.
I was a little disappointed that we would go that far, and it scares me. How much further are we going to go? What else are we going to ban?
A new change is on the way for abortion rules in Texas designed to acknowledge the dignity of the unborn victims of abortion. The measure takes effect December 19th, making it mandatory for the remains of unborn babies to be buried or cremated. Right now, abortion facilities dispose of the remains in a sanitary landfill along with medical waste. Opponents complain the move will drive up their costs. Supporters say it is about the dignity of human beings.
One mom in Alabama is taking the fight against online bullying into her own hands. Jenny Smith's son, Grayson, was born with a number of serious medical problems. The toddler's mom set up a Facebook page to connect with other parents, and the family got a lot of support, but also faced trolls. Within the past few weeks, Smith has seen memes of her son online, using a photo of her son to make a mean joke. It says, "That face you make when your parents are actually cousins." At first, Smith says she wanted to hide under a rock, but now she's pushing back, getting sites hosting the meme to remove it.
France is refusing to lift a ban on a viral pro-life video because it might upset women who previously aborted a Down syndrome baby. Controversy erupted 2 years ago when a Down syndrome advocacy group produced the video called Dear Future Mom. It shows smiling children with Down syndrome sending a powerful message to anxious mothers whose unborn babies were diagnosed with the disorder. Take a look.
Cara futura mamma.
Don't be afraid.
Tu niño podrá hacer muchas cosas.
Podrá marcharte. Podrá correr hacia ti.
Il pourra parler et te dire qu'il t'aime.
French officials called the video inappropriate and banned it from ever being on television. But pro-life advocates believe this is just the message France needs. Almost 90% of babies prenatally diagnosed with Down syndrome in France are aborted. The video is still banned despite numerous petitions.
An issue that has received a lot of real coverage recently is all the fake news currently popping up on social media. And now one fake story has caused real violence. A North Carolina man was arrested Sunday in Washington, D.C. after a shooting that he says was motivated by an internet conspiracy theory. He is appearing in court this afternoon. Detectives say Edgar Welch told them he drove nearly 370 miles from North Carolina to Washington to self-investigate the bizarre conspiracy theory known as Pizzagate. The false story accuses Hillary Clinton and her former campaign chairman, John Podesta, of running a child sex ring from a pizza restaurant called Comet Ping Pong.
Washington Times reported today that unidentified White House aides in the Carter, Reagan, and Bush administrations now are being investigated for using the services of a call boy ring. The paper reports that 2 of the male prostitutes were given a late-night tour of the White House last year. The White House press secretary, Marlin Fitzwater, said he knew nothing of this investigation. NBC's Lisa Myers reports her sources in the U.S. Attorney's Office say the investigation is not focusing on prostitution, but on fraud involving the use of credit cards to pay for the callboy service.
An international pedophile ring has been fully operational for decades. Plummeting down the rabbit hole, you will eventually discover the Franklin cover-up, the Jimmy Savile scandal, the Hampstead cover-up, the Elm Guest House scandal, Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Island, and many others that were eventually buried by a colluding media, and the fact that the general public loses interest because the reality of high-profile pedophilic predators is an alien world and completely repulsive to the average person. But as recently as a week ago, Norwegian police arrested 20 men and were investigating 31 suspects involved in a pedophile network. Deputy Police Chief Gunnar Floystad told reporters that many of the suspects were highly educated and included lawyers and politicians. Prosecutors said the suspects had met on the dark web. The material discovered on the dark web involved children as young as toddlers and included acts of bestiality. According to the local NO, police stressed that their operation uncovered not just one pedophilia network, but several. We have the clear perception that like-minded individuals met with each other in the so-called dark net, where they could talk with one another and cultivate their interest in children in peace, Rikers said. There are several highly educated individuals with high IT skills. They've used encryption and anonymity to hide their tracks, head police prosecutor Jane Ringsett Heltney said at the Sunday press conference. She also said that all of the perpetrators involved are men, and one of the involved men had a pregnant girlfriend and discussed plans with another man to sexually abuse the child once it was born, police said. Also, last week, USA Today reported Portland, Oregon police arrested Terrence Patrick Bean, who had been charged with 2 felony counts of having sex with a minor last year. Bean raised more than $500,000 for Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. Bean has been one of the state's biggest Democratic donors and an influential figure in gay rights circles in the state, reports OregonLive.com. He helped found 2 major national political groups, the Human Rights Campaign and the Gay and Lesbian Victory Fund, and has been a major contributor for several Democratic presidential candidates, including Barack Obama. A search of the Federal Election Commission's campaign finance database turns up thousands in donations every cycle by Bean to the Democratic Party's most powerful leaders, including Hillary Clinton, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Senator Dick Durbin, and Representative Barney Frank, among others. As the Pizzagate scandal unfolds, regardless of the mainstream media downplaying of it.
Fake news, by the way, is not an abstract problem. The owner of a D.C. pizza restaurant called Comet Ping Pong, where I've taken my kids, began receiving death threats after Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit carried viciously phony rumors that the pizza joint was the base for a child abuse ring using underground tunnels led by Hillary Clinton and her campaign chief, John Podesta.
It is all a lie. Comet Ping Pong owner James Alefantis says the restaurant does not even have a basement.
Just disgusting.
398 children remain missing in the greater Washington, D.C. area. WikiLeaks revealed that Tony Podesta had mentioned he was still in the torture room. Let's hope the walls are finally closing in on this cancer that has fed on thousands upon thousands of children worldwide for decades.